All right, time for lesson 3 in Latin 2, lesson 53 in Latin 2. Here at Wittenberg Academy on page 97. The personal endings in the tense sign. The verb is conjugated by adding certain personal endings to the verb stem. These endings show not only person and number, but voice also. Okay, so we've already done a lot of work, obviously, with our active endings. So in the present indicative active, right, it's laudo, laudus, laudat, laudamus, laudatus, laudant. So you can see those endings there. And as we learn the other conjugations, for example, a habeo is of the second conjugation, means I have, and it's just going to have the same endings, those personal endings that laudo has, but instead of forming them with a, like laudo does, laudo, laudas, laudat, habeo forms them with e. So habeo, habes, habet. Okay, habemus, habetus, habent. Great. And now we're learning that there is also a set of passive endings. And so you see those there on page 97. Ar restur more mini intur. Ar restur more mini intur. Probably worth learning, probably worth making that one a flashcard. There are personal endings of both the indicative and subjunctive moods for all tenses except the perfect and active, which has the following endings. Well, there's our perfect. E isti it, emis istis erant. Well, we've already learned those. Very good. Tense signs. In the present indicative, for instance, the personal endings are added directly to the stem, as in laudamus. But in most of the tenses, certain mood and tense signs stand between the stem and the ending, as in amabamus, right? We loved, imperfect. The tense signs for the indicative are as follows. The present tense, the personal ending is added to the present stem directly. Laudo, laudus, manao, manes. It will be noticed that stems in a lose this by contraction when the ending is o. The imperfect, ba, laudabam. Again, we've already learned this. The second declension will be monabam. The future, be, for the first and second conjugations, where e before o of the first person is lost by contraction and becomes u before it's bunt, not beant. And now you can see where some of these rules become cumbersome. It's actually easier just to learn the endings. Now I find it much easier to learn that the future ends in laudavo, laudabis, laudabit. I find that easier to learn than I do to learn all these rules. The rules can be helpful. The rules can help kind of have this sink in for you, perhaps, but I find it really easier just to learn the forms as they come. The personal endings are added directly to the perfect stem in the perfect. Okay, it is good to have your perfect endings down. We should already have a flashcard for e isti it, emis istis erant. The pluperfect, era added to the perfect stem, laudawara. Again, why learn that when it's the perfect stem, laudau, with a v, plus the imperfect forms of sum, right? Laudawaram, etc. I find that much easier. All right, and again with future perfect, why not remember that it's the perfect stem plus the future forms of the verb sum. So don't worry too much about all that jazz, except I would have a card for ar ristur more mini intur, and I would have a card for e isti it, emis istis erant. 3. Examples for practice. Analyze the following forms. That is, divide them into stem, tense sign, and personal ending. Tell you what, don't do that, but parse them all. Pause the tape, come back, and I'll parse all these. So write out your parsings. So I'll do the first one quickly here so you know what I'm talking about. Amabam, first person singular, imperfect, indicative active. So do that for all those verbs. Pause tape, come back. Right, monebon. That's imperfect, first person singular, indicative active. Portawit, perfect, third person singular, indicative active. These are all indicative active unless I say otherwise. Narawerant, let's see the perfect stem and that arent ending, right? That's third person plural for the perfect. Wokat, third person singular, present. Monabit, future, third person singular. Pugnavo, first person singular, future. Laudaweramus, that's got the perfect stem with the future form of sum as its ending, so that's future perfect, first person plural. Occupavis, second person singular, future. Monoi, monoi. This is a verb we're going to learn just a bit. It's second conjugation. But you can see the E ending, that's all you need to know, right? That it's first person singular perfect. Wedebas, that's imperfect, second person singular. Amamus, that's first person plural present. Vulneraboras, pluperfect, second person singular. Serwawistus, second person plural of on the perfect stem. Fui, again, all you need is the E, right? That ending. That's got to be perfect, first person singular. Amo, present, first person singular. Laudavo, future, first person singular. Vocabant, future, third person plural. Paras, second person singular of the present. And vulnerabitus, that would be your vulnerabitis. Confused me for a second. Future, second person plural. All right. So that should be more and more handy to you. You should be able to analyze or parse these verbs. That's why you've got to know the endings so well. I mean, what's going on in my mind as I go through each one of those, I look at the ending and some of them just click, like that E ending that it can only go one place. Amus on a mamus, I know where that goes. Lauda weremus, I can see, that's the perfect stem. It sticks out like a sore thumb with that V in there. And then the ending, that's a future ending. So, future perfect. That's got to come to you eventually as second nature. And now, especially as we're going to be adding more and more endings with the very next chapter here, in chapter 54, as we learn the present indicative passive. So, again, not much to do in this lesson, no new vocabulary or anything, just kind of introducing us one last time, giving us one last week to catch up, and we hit the ground running with lesson 54 next time.